So I had an interesting error come in, and I wanted to share with you the process by which I was able to tell the person where the error was. So that way you can find them yourself. Somebody was working on the array list problem. This can apply to any problem, but it's really useful. The context is here is for the array list. And so when I run their code, um, oops, sorry, I tried to do this one other time, and let me do that over again. Take that out. Run their code. I end up with this exception being thrown. It says an access violation reading location. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's okay. What it amounts to is you're trying to read part of the memory that you shouldn't be in. You're going somewhere you shouldn't be. You've done a bad command in there somewhere, and that's why I showed this exception. But that exception, for whatever reason, it supersedes the exception handling mechanism in the test case. So I'm just going to stop this. I'm going to come to the main program here. So in list apps here, I open that up, go to the main program. I don't know where it's happening here. The what I was told, it was happening down here in the advanced list. So I put a breakpoint here. Now this blue bar here is where you can put breakpoints, and all you have to do is click here, and it'll add or remove a breakpoint, wherever you click. And so when I ran this here, they said, well, oh wait, it's still showing up. I'm still having the problem. So I'm going to hit the stop over here and make that all go away. So this advanced list is not the problem. They said, well, when I added the advanced list, things broke. And that's not true. It's happening somewhere before here because the breakpoint, it didn't get to this breakpoint, so something broke before then. So I'm going to put the breakpoint all the way up here. So list under test. So I'm going to do it again. All right, so now you can see my code stopped right here. The diagnostic tools pops up. It gives me this little yellow arrow on the red dot. And so I can use the step over button right here, and I've created my list. So that worked. So let's see, happy paths, that worked. Empty test, that worked. Step over edge cases, oh, boom, somewhere in the edge cases is where things blow up. All right, so let me just hit the stop button over here. So when I stop that with the exception, just kills everything. So now I know the problem is somewhere on this line of code, so I'm going to clear out these other breakpoints. And so when I run, it's going to go jump straight down to this point. So I'm going to run it again, and it jumps immediately to this edge cases. So if I want to know what's going on inside of here, I can use the step into button, F11, but I'll click it here, step into. And then I'm going to go back to step over. So I clear the list, I fill the list, see if it's passed, and it's frozen here for a second. It's thinking. Let me see what's going on here. My task manager. Yeah, it's doing something right there. It's thinking. Okay, now it's responding. Uh, oh yeah, so past equal true. I don't know what stopped it right there. I don't think it was anything to do with the code, but we'll have to see. Yeah, it's just responding really slow here. Yeah, it's not responding at all. So this is the second time I was making this video. The first time I clicked on the share live session, and that's what this yellow box up here is about. Yeah, now it's the Clister's cast. Don't click that. It caused all sorts of slowdown here. But all right, so now I created the value. I step past. Okay, now it's working there. All right, so I get the value from the list. All right, so that's working. And so a get -1 didn't blow up. A set -1 didn't blow up. Now I'm doing remove -1, and oh, that's where my exception happened. So my list blew up right there. So now if I come back to that code, array list, list apps, I know that the code blew up here on line 259. So I'm going to put a breakpoint out here. So now when I stop this and I hit continue, I got to go over and debug it again, because once I've hit the exception, I can't undo the exception. It jumps to here where I can actually turn off this breakpoint if I want to, because I know where inside of this that happens. I can continue, and it jumps to this remove method. So somewhere in here. I'm narrowing it down. I'm making it smaller and smaller where the error could possibly be. So let me step into this method again. All right, and so now we're inside of here. We can see, well, we're doing at index -1. And so we're going to step over into the method. And the first line of code it's executing is string A is equal to data at index. So again, I think mine is locked up here again for a second. I'm not sure why. Okay, so yeah, now it's at this string, A at index. So you can see A is not yet initialized. At index is -1. If I want to see data, I can go to this here, which is the object I'm currently working in. And again, it seems to be frozen, but let me try this again. And then I'll step over. Nope, it's frozen. But anyway, oh, there you go. That's where my exception comes up. So now I've at least identified where the error was happening. I know where the line of code is. If you look at this, I can't do an index of -1 into an array. The problem in this code is it misses the edge case. What if somebody asks for that? It's not that it's part of a list exactly. I mean, but our code has to sometimes avoid bad calls from users. It's not that users are going to intentionally call -1, but they might be doing a loop and their loop might not, calculate properly. It might keep going down to -1. And so we could either let this big error that comes up and says, hey, exception, access control, and people have to sort out what the heck's going on, or we can do something about it. And the simplest thing, and what I'm asking you to do at this point, is if somebody returns a -1, or anything that's an invalid list, so bigger than the list or smaller than the list, you just simply return, in this case, a blank string. It just returns nothing. And so the blank string is the signifier of I did nothing inside of here. All right, so sorry about the technical glitch, the slowness of that, but you might be experiencing similar things, and you can see kind of what it's like. Sometimes you just wait for it to come back. But that is an example of where I can have errors happening that I coded. In this case, somebody else coded. But I mean, it's errors on my space. I need to find it. This is how I can centralize down to where that error is happening, even when the tool is not giving me great information about where the error is coming from.